Welcome to the Jamodi podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is Jamodi, just a matter of doing it.
What's up, Coach? Are you looking for a way to elevate your off-season skill development? Well, look no further. With the Bology app, you can build a workout with our library or create your own content. Send that workout to your players, and then your players complete the workout by recording their session on their phones. You can monitor and encourage competition with our leaderboards for every workout. Bology offers player development solutions in the palm of your hands. Get your team started today by going to bology.com for more info.
Well, coming off of an incredible year for your program, and then like you said earlier, even for yourself, which I get, those are program awards, and I appreciate your way of looking at that, the humility that you show throughout this season in your career. What have been some of those daily habits that set you up for success?
Yeah, well, 15 years ago, I just finished my 15th year, like actually coaching, which is crazy because it feels like yesterday. Had the opportunity to play overseas with my twin brother, and had an opportunity to coach with my older brother. He kind of got me into this profession then, and being back with Coach K for 7 years before I took over, and I just finished my 5th year. So one thing I have learned, I'm going to jump around with your question. The first thing is what have you learned, and what would you tell yourself when you get into this? Is it's funny when you're 24, 25, you know everything, right? And you're the man. And now I'm 38 and I go, man, I don't know anything I'm doing. And every year that goes on, you realize how much little you know and little you know. So just the continuous growth. I think for us, the daily habits you talk about, that's one thing we've been really good at. I think I've touched on this with other podcasts and other people that I've talked to. Is last year we had a freshman that ended up getting diagnosed with cancer. And, it kind of, you think what coaching is, and it's between those 94 feet and X's and O's and timeouts and all this. And that's what you spend your time on when you're going through this and you're preparing. But you ask any coach, like dealing with that stuff, that's coaching, right? Yeah. That is coaching. So when that hit, my whole staff, we've never gone through this. And so trying to figure out how we handle that and handle a young man who's dealing with something so much bigger than just a game. And then how you handle his teammates, right? Like we got the news and we're going into practice, and I'm like, it's the first time in my career where I looked at my assistant who's like, guys, I don't know what to do. Like I do not have an answer. Yeah. And so we just kind of canceled practice. And so stemming from that, I was always a big picture guy and always hey, here's our goal. This is what we're going to obtain. Let's go do it. And it was the first time in my career that I worried less about the outcome of the games and more about like, man, COVID had we'd done with that, right? And we didn't know if we were going to even play. And you're playing in front of 0 fans. And then this thing with Hagen happens. And so now it's, okay, let's really, I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to worry about today and take care of it. And 2, I'm going to enjoy every single minute and process of this. And that's where I got better, is the daily part of, we can get the what, like this is what we want, but now we got to focus on the how. And the how is constant. I tell the guys all the time, be great at simple. Right. And simple is boring. Is boring. But the best teams in the country figure out how to do something simple, how to do it excellent, and then repeat and then repeat and repeat. Right. And that's the hard part, is doing something. This isn't a 2-week thing. This is 10 months. Right. You start July, June, and it goes. And we just finished up the end of March. It's a long process and a long season. So that's the day-to-days. You focus on the how, not just the what. And then from there, you can win basketball games a lot of different ways. You've learned that. There's different styles out there. I think for us, it's just like hey, this is who we are. It's what we believe in. Now we're going to attack this every single day, and we are going to be great at being simple.
Yeah.
And if we can do that, you get enough talent, like you can look around and okay, Elijah Malone's pretty special. Like we've got some guy like Carter Stoltz who's really good. Brett Sikafu's coming out like he's coming off the bench, playing 15 minutes, and he could be starting and playing a lot for a lot of teams. We just have a lot of those guys. So once you realize you have talent, you can do those things. I just think great things can happen, and we've been fortunate, especially the last couple of years.
Man, a lot of good nuggets there. Fran Fraschilla had a quote or idea that I really liked. He said, "Don't get bored at getting good." Like,
Yeah.
and the things that get you good sometimes are more the mundane, boring daily habits. That could be with our walk. That could also be with hoops. And then I thought a great nugget about the 94 feet and how so much of what we do is really outside of those 94 feet. But how often as coaches do we only focus on that portion of it, improving in that portion? I need a better system. I need a better out of bounds play. I need a better this and that. In your opinion, how do you get better at the stuff that's outside the 94 feet?
Well, today, it's so much. I know it's mundane and people talk about it so much, but today's kids are so different. When I was playing, when you were going, relationships and having these kids, honestly, they're not dumb. Like they can sniff out genuine,
Yeah.
right? They know if you care. And what my goal with our kids, and I can't speak for other programs, but I was an okay player. I was not a superstar. I played on a lot of great teams, so it probably made me look better than what I actually was. But I was always, I was the second wheel to my twin brother. He went to Gray, scored 2,500 points in college. He was a way better basketball player than me. I was just attached to him because I was his twin, right? And I was the point guard, and I averaged 8 points a game, 7 points a game, and he averaged 22. And I laugh because I tell everybody, like, hey, man, between us, we scored like 3,600 points in college. We were pretty tough. But he had like 27 of it. But
That's like the Kobe Bryant, Kwame Brown stat. Like
right,
these guys combined for 84 and it was 82 and 2. So nice.
right. But because of that,
Yeah.
my coaching style was a lot like my playing style in the fact that, like, dude, I don't care. I don't need a medal individually. I don't need to be in a Hall of Fame. I don't need any won me games. Then, dude, I'd pass it as many times as I could. If my job was to guard that best player, I did it. And so it's funny how that stuff carries over as a coach. I have a very significant thing that we talk about is bringing value. And we give these guys examples constantly of, if you want to play for us, you have to add value to our team. You have to. Like there is no, if you're not going to bring value in an area, then you need to go find another team to play for.
Yeah.
So a lot of that value, Matt, comes from stuff on the court or off the court. I have a young man now who's going to be a senior, Marcus Davidson. His brother was NAI All-American for us last year. He's actually playing professionally in France right now. And Marcus is a heck of a player, and he has gotten really, really good. The problem is we've got 9, 10 guys that are just more talented than him. And so, you have those conversations like, Marcus, where do you bring value at? And I'm telling you right now, as hard as it was to lose a guy like Frankie Davidson for us the year before with all those accolades, it is going to be so much harder for us to replace Marcus Davidson than it was Frank. And that's not hitting on Frank. Like, Frank was incredible for us. But the value of what Marcus brings to our locker room and our team, he's a guy where if he says something, man, everybody listens. And he'll play 5 minutes maybe. Like, he gets in if we're up. So that's the big thing, is add value. We will help you in certain ways, like what that looks like. Points, rebounds, assists, cheering, being a 4.0 student, right? Like, being a great student adds value. Character is obviously a big piece of what we're trying to do here. So yeah, we spend a ton of time at it, and I tell them so much And I believe it because I was this guy. There's nothing you can do in a basketball game that can make me love you or not love you, more or less, right? There's nothing. There's nothing. So whether you're Elijah Malone and you're the National Player of the Year or you're Marcus Davidson, like, I love you. And no one more than the other. And I think those guys, I think they believe it. And I hope they do. I hope that's my assistants do such a good job in that too, where for us, it's kind of what we're about.
I think the moment that you say something like that, then not pressure's the wrong word, but a responsibility, you have to live that out. Because you can't just say that I love you no matter what,
Yeah.
how you play or whatnot. But if you don't live that, if your stars receive more of the love than everybody else, then that's going to fall flat really quick. So I appreciate the fact that you say it, but that you live it out.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the Jamodi podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.